Hello everyone and welcome to Kiki Crochet. In this video tutorial we're going to learn how to crochet step by step this beautiful summer bag with the new materials that Magenta Arty Workshop store has for us. Starting from the bottom, I have a leather base. I have used a total of 2 skeins of 100% polyester yarn, which is the best yarn to crochet the bubble stitch because we want the total weight of the bag to be light. Okay, and this is the best yarn to have this result. I have the belts up here, which is a two-sided belt. On the outside and on the inside we have the same beautiful result. The strap for the bag is very strong and it can hold a lot of weight, and it's tied down here with a leather piece. Okay, I have the hinge down here to attach easily on the link, which is again tied with a leather piece. The cord right here in the front is 100% cotton, which again is tied with a leather piece. Now if you visit the link of the store that I have under the video in the about section, you can see all the different combinations of belts and colors of yarn you can choose to make your own beautiful bag for the summer. Now let's go ahead and see piece by piece all the materials that I used, the crochet hook that I used, and how to start our bag. So now I'm going to start crocheting on my base, and I want to have the good side on the top and the wrong side on the bottom. The wrong side is the side that's going to be on the inside of our bag. Okay, so I want to have the good side on the top. Put your hook in one of the holes, doesn't matter which one. Now I'm going to take my cord and I'm going to put it on the back side. So what I'm going to do is carefully, I'm going to take the yarn and I'm going to pull it through the hole carefully. Now pull the loop as much as you need to reach the next hole. We do not want to have you do not want to pull it out more because you're going to have a very loose chain over here, and you do not want to pull it too tight because it's going to be difficult for you to work on the next hole of the base. Okay, so pull as much as you need to reach the next hole. Yarn over once and pull the yarn through the hole carefully. And through your loop. Okay, pull the loop to reach the next hole. Yarn over once on the back of the base. Pull through the yarn through the hole carefully. And through your loop. Go ahead into the next hole. Pull the loop as much as you need to reach the next hole. Yarn over once. Pull the yarn carefully through the hole and through your loop. Okay, pull the loop to reach the next hole. Yarn over once. Pull the yarn carefully through the hole. And through your loop. Okay, so continue working in the same exact way until you reach the last hole. When I reach the last hole over here, I'm going to turn my video back on and I'm going to show how to finish row number 1 and how to start row number 2. I've completed crocheting all around my base, and I've crocheted in the last hole as well, and see how we have this space, this gap over here. What I'm going to do is I have already cut my yarn on the back, pull the loop to bring the yarn on the top. Okay, now put your crochet hook under the first chain that we created, grab the yarn, pull it under the chain. Okay, now this is the last chain that I've created. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put my hook from the back to the front through that hole, and I want my hook to go through the center of the chain. Okay, now grab this piece of yarn and pull it through the hole and take it in the bottom of the base. And see, we did by doing this we have we close the gap and it seems as if we have a continuous chain going around. Now, turn your base on the back, work a tight knot, okay. Now burn the corners right here so the yarn doesn't untangle. Do the same thing on the other piece. Now that we are in the beginning, go ahead and weave in the ends through the loops down here, because once we finish our purse, it's not going to be easy. We won't be able to turn our purse upside down and weave in the ends. So go ahead and weave in through the loops this whole piece of cord. Okay. So keep weaving in and weave in this piece on this side as well. Okay, once I weave in, I'm going to turn my video back on and see how to start row number 2. Now we're going to start row number 2, and from here on I'm going to be crocheting with a 6mm crochet hook, because the yarn along with the base that's leather, it helps us crochet easily, even though that I'm going to use a very thick crochet hook from here on. Now what we're going to do in row number 2, we're going to crochet 2 single crochet under each chain that we've created. I'm going to start somewhere about here, and here's where the scheme is going to be created. So this is going to be the wrong side, which this is going to be the side that's going to be touching our body, and this is the side that's going to be on the outside where we're going to attach the belt in the end. On this side we're going to have the cords to tighten our bag. Okay, so this is going to be the side with the scheme over here. So I'm going to attach my yarn. So I put my hook under one of those chains. Make sure you burn the ends over here. Take the yarn, pull it under the stitch, and chain 1. Now I'm going to work 2 single crochet under the very same stitch that I just attached my yarn. Okay. One single crochet and one more single crochet under the same stitch. Now put your hook in the next stitch, and this stitch over here is going to be a little tighter because it's the last stitch that we worked and we made the knot on the back. Okay, so 2 single crochet under the next chain. So put your hook under the chain and work 2 single crochet in the same stitch. 1, put your hook for a second time under the same chain, and 2. Now next chain, 2 single crochet again. So put your hook under the chain, work your first single crochet, and 1 more single crochet under the same chain. Next chain, 1 single crochet and 1 more single crochet under the same chain. Okay, now go ahead and work 2 single crochet under every single chain that we worked. Once I finish here in the end, I'm going to turn my video back on and we're going to see how to work row number 3. I've completed crocheting the second row and have a total of 80 single crochet in the end of row number 2. It's very important that we have the same amount of stitches as I go through the bag. Okay, 80 single crochet all around. Now I'm going to put my hook in the first single crochet for this row and I'm going to work a slip stitch. So take the yarn and pull it through the stitch and through the loop on your hook. Chain 1 and turn your work. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to work 2 increases in this corner, 2 in this one, 2 in this one, and 2 in this one. So what this means that in the end of row number 3, I'm going to have a total of 88 single crochet. So what I'm going to do is see right over here, this is the corner hole for the base. I want to put 1 stitch marker in one of the stitches in the hole after, and 1 stitch marker in the stitches in the hole before the corner. So right here is the hole after the corner. So in this single crochet right over here, I'm going to put my first stitch marker. And this is the hole before the corner. So I'm going to put 1 stitch marker in this single crochet over here. So in between, in each stitch marker, I have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches left. Okay, so I put my stitch marker 1, 2, 3, 4 single crochet, and in the 5th one I have my stitch marker. Now in the next corner, this is the corner, this is the hole that's after it, so put 1 stitch marker on that single crochet, count 4 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, and on the 5th attach your stitch marker. Next hole, this is my corner, this is the hole before the corner, so attach your stitch marker right in this single crochet over here, count 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches, on the 5th one attach your stitch marker. Now our last corner over here, this is the corner hole, this is the hole after the corner, so attach your stitch marker on this single crochet and count 1, 2, 3, 4. On the 5th stitch attach your stitch marker. So this is how our work looks like at this point. Okay, now we were working around like this. We worked this slip stitch, chain 1, and we turned our work. What we're going to do now is I'm going to work 1 single crochet in every stitch, and on every stitch marker I'm going to be working 2 single crochet in the same stitch. Okay, so start from the first single crochet, and I'm putting my hook regularly in each stitch. Okay, put your hook right in each single crochet and crochet, starting from the first stitch, 1, next stitch, 2, next one, 3, next one, 4, next one, 5, next one, 6, next one, oops, next one, 7, and in the stitch, the next stitch is my stitch marker. So take out the stitch marker, put your hook, and in this very same stitch that I took out the stitch marker from, we're going to work 2 single crochet. So I have 7 so far. Next stitch, 8, and in the same stitch, 9. Keep working 1 single crochet and on every stitch marker work 2 single crochet in that same stitch, a total of 88 single crochet in the end of row number 3. This is how our work looks like so far. Okay, I've completed row number 3 with a total of 88 stitches, and I'm going to put my hook in the first single crochet of this row, and I'm going to work a slip stitch, chain 1, and I'm going to turn my work. Oops. Chain 1, and I'm going to turn my work. So this is how our work looks like so far. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put stitch marker in each corner. Okay, and we're just going to estimate. This is the corner hole right over here, and this is about the single crochet that's right in the corner. Now the next corner hole is the one right over here, and by estimating this is the stitch that belongs to it. So in between of those two stitch markers I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 stitches. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna turn on the other side as well, and this about is my corner stitch, so estimate this is the stitch that belongs to it. So I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 stitches, and I'm going to put my stitch marker in the 12th. So this is how my work looks like when I attach my stitch markers. And we're going to start crocheting 1 single crochet in every stitch and 2 single crochet on every stitch marker. So start by crocheting in the very first single crochet, 1 single crochet in every stitch. Once I reach my stitch marker, I'm going to turn my video back on. I've reached my stitch marker. I have 19 single crochet so far. So take out your stitch marker, and in the next stitch I'm going to work 2 single crochet in the same stitch. So 20, and in the same stitch 21. So keep working 1 single crochet around, 2 single crochet on every stitch marker in the same way that we just did, and in the end of row number 4 you have to have a total of 92 single crochet. I've completed the 4th and last row of increases for my bag, and this is how my work looks like so far. Okay, we want to have a straight flat base so far because we were working the increases. From here on I'm going to be working 1 stitch in every stitch, and our bag is going to start building up. So I'm going to put my hook in the first single crochet that I worked for this row, and I'm going to work a slip stitch and a chain 1. Make sure you have 92 single crochet because it's very important that we have the same amount of stitches, because the bubble stitch has a multiple of 4. So if you don't have 92 stitches you won't have the correct result. I'm going to turn my work and I'm going to start working 1 single crochet in every stitch around, starting from the first single crochet, 1, next one, 2, and keep working 1 stitch in every stitch around for a total of 92 single crochet. I've completed crocheting my 5th row with 1 single crochet in every stitch with a total of 92 single crochet. Now I'm going to put my hook in the first single crochet for this row, and I'm going to work a slip stitch. I'm going to chain 1 and I'm going to turn my work. Now I'm going to start the next row, and because I'm on the good side, the right side of my work, since I'm seeing the right side of the base, okay, I'm going to start working my bubble stitch. Now, in order to work our bubble stitch, we're going to start working 1 single crochet in the first 3 stitches, starting from the first stitch, and this is the first row of repetitions as well. Okay, so 1, next stitch, 2, next stitch, 3, and now in the 4th stitch we're going to work the bubble stitch. So in order to create the bubble stitch, I'm going to yarn over once and I'm going to work 5 stitches in the same stitch. So yarn over once, and for the first time put your hook in the next stitch. Grab the yarn, pull it through the first 2 loops and leave the last 2 on your hook. Yarn over once, and for the second time put your hook in the same stitch. Grab the yarn, pull through the first 2 loops and leave the last one in your hook. Yarn over once. For the third time put your hook in the same stitch. Grab the yarn, pull through the first 2 loops and leave the last one in your hook. Yarn over once, put your hook in the same stitch for the 4th time. Grab the yarn, pull through the first 2 loops and leave the last one in your hook. Yarn over once and put your hook in the same stitch for the 5th and last time. Grab the yarn, pull through the first 2 loops and leave the last one on your hook. So I've worked a total of 5 stitches in the same stitch, and I have 6 loops on my hook. Grab the yarn, pull it through all of those 6 loops carefully, chain 1 to secure, and push outwards the stitches. So we just created our first bubble stitch. Now, starting from the next stitch, I'm going to work again 1 single crochet in the next 3 stitches. Starting from the next stitch right over here. 1, next stitch, 2, next stitch, 3. So I work 3 single crochet. Now again in the 4th stitch I'm going to work my bubble stitch. So yarn over once and put your hook for the first time in the next single crochet. Grab the yarn, pull through the first 2 loops and leave the last 2 on your hook. Yarn over once, and for the second time put your hook in the same stitch. Grab the yarn, pull it through the first 2 loops and leave the last one on your hook. Yarn over once, and for the third time put your hook in the same stitch. Grab the yarn, pull through the first 2 loops and leave the last one on your hook. Yarn over once, and for the 4th time put your hook in the same stitch. Grab the yarn, pull through the first 2 loops and leave the last one on your hook. Yarn over once, and for the 5th and last time put your hook in the same stitch. Grab the yarn, pull through the first 2 loops and leave the last one on your hook. So again, I've worked a total of 5 stitches and 6 loops on my hook. Grab the yarn, pull it carefully through the 6 loops, chain 1 to secure. Okay, push outwards the stitches, and we have our second bubble. Now again, starting from the next stitch, work 3 single crochet in a row. Starting from the next stitch, 1, next stitch, 2, and next stitch, 3. Now again in the 4th stitch we're going to work the bubble stitch. So what we're going to do is we're going to continue the row off camera. The pattern is it repeats itself the same exact way that we did in the beginning. So I have 3 single crochet and the bubble stitch the same way I did it over here. Again, 3 single crochet, bubble stitch, 3 single crochet, bubble stitch all around. And in the very last stitch I'm going to have a bubble stitch because I have the 3 single crochet in the beginning. Okay, because I have the 3 single crochet in the beginning, I want the bubble stitch in the end. This way the pattern is going to seem if it's going around continuously. Okay, so keep working a bubble stitch on every 4th stitch, and this is how it looks like. I've completed my first row of repetitions, and as I mentioned before I turned my video off, my last stitch is a bubble stitch. I've already worked a chain to secure my stitches, and I'm going to put my hook in the first single crochet for this row, and I'm going to work a slip stitch, chain 1, and I'm going to turn my work. So this is how my bag, the first row of repetition, looks like. Okay, now I'm going to start the second row of repetitions, which is 1 single crochet in every stitch. Make sure you have 92 stitches in the end of the row. So I'm going to start by working 1 single crochet on top of the bubble stitch. So put your hook right here on the top loop of the bubble stitch and work your first single crochet. 1 single crochet in each of the 3 single crochet that I work. Okay, so 2, next stitch, 3, next one, 4, 1 single crochet on top of the bubble stitch right here on the top loop, 5, 1 single crochet in each of the next 3 stitches, 6, 7, 8, 1 single crochet on top of the bubble stitch, 9, and keep working one single crochet around for a total of 92 single crochet in the end of the row. I've completed working the second row of repetitions with 92 single crochet. Now I'm going to put my hook in the first stitch for this row, and I'm going to work a slip stitch, chain 1, and I'm going to turn my work. Now we're going to start the third row of repetitions, and what we want to do in this row is we want the bubbles to fall in between of the bubbles of the previous row. So what we're going to do is I'm going to start by crocheting one single crochet in the first stitch for this row. And in the second stitch, I'm going to work my first bubble. So yarn over once, put your hook for the first time in the stitch, grab the yarn, pull through the first 2 loops, and the last 2 stay on our hook. Yarn over once, put your hook in the same stitch for the second time, grab the yarn, pull through 2, leave the last loop on your hook. Yarn over once, put your hook in the same stitch for the third time, grab the yarn, pull through 2, and leave the last loop on your hook. Yarn over once for the fourth time in the same stitch, grab the yarn, pull through 2, leave the last loop on your hook. Yarn over once in the same stitch for the fifth and last time, grab the yarn, pull through the first 2 loops, and leave the last one on your hook. So I have 5 stitches in the same stitch and a total of 6 loops on my hook. Grab the yarn, pull through all of those 6 loops carefully, chain 1 to secure, and now I'm going to keep working the same pattern as I was doing in the previous row. So what I'm going to do after my bubble stitch, I'm going to work 3 single crochet starting from the next stitch, 1, next stitch, 2, and the next stitch, 3. Now in the fourth stitch again, I'm going to work my bubble stitch. So yarn over once, and for the first time put your hook in the next stitch, grab the yarn, pull through the first 2 loops, and leave the last 2 on your hook. Yarn over once, for the second time in the same stitch, grab the yarn, pull through 2, leave the last loop on your hook. Yarn over once, for the third time in the same stitch, grab the yarn, pull through the first 2 loops. Yarn over once, for the fourth time, put your hook in the same stitch, grab the yarn, pull through the first 2 loops. And for the fifth and last time, yarn over once, put your hook in the same stitch, grab the yarn, pull through the first 2 loops, and leave the last one on your hook. So again, we have 5 stitches, 6 loops in our hook, grab the yarn, pull through all of those 6 loops carefully, chain 1, and now we're going to work our 3 single crochet after our bubble stitch. Starting from the next stitch, 1, next stitch, 2, and the next stitch, 3. Now again in the fourth stitch we're going to work our bubble stitch. So this is how the bubbles look on this row. They fall in between of the bubbles of the previous row, and this is the third row of repetitions. So go ahead and work a bubble in every fourth stitch, and right here, once you go around, right here in the end, the last 2 stitches are going to be 1 single crochet in each of those last 2 stitches. With the 1 single crochet that I worked in the beginning of the row, we have the repetition of the row all around with 3 single crochet and the bubble and so on. Okay, so once I finish my row, I'm going to turn my video back on and see how we're going to start the repetitions of row number 4. I've completed my third row of repetitions, and as I mentioned before I turned my video off, my last 2 stitches are 1 single crochet in every stitch. So I have my bubble stitch, the last 2 stitches are a single crochet, along with a single crochet in the beginning of the row. I have the repetition of the pattern where I have 3 single crochet, bubble, 3 single crochet, bubble, and so on. And see how in this row the bubbles fall in between of the bubbles of the previous row. Okay, so what we're going to do now, we're going to put our hook in the first single crochet for this row, and we're going to work a slip stitch, chain 1, and turn your work. Row number 4 is the last row of repetition, and again we're going to work 1 single crochet in every stitch for a total of 92 stitches. Okay, So start by crocheting in the very first single crochet, 1, next single crochet, 2, now 1 single crochet on top of the bubble stitch right here on the top loop, 3, 1 single crochet in each of the next 3 single crochet, 4, 5, and 6, 1 single crochet on top of the bubble stitch, 7, okay, and keep crocheting the same exact way all around up until you have 92 stitches. I've completed crocheting the 4th and last row of repetitions. I have a total of 92 single crochet, so now we're going to put our hook in the first stitch for this row and we're going to work a slip stitch, chain 1, and turn your work. So now we're going to start repeating the rows all over again. So I'm going to start with the repetitions of row number 1. So what did we do in row number 1? We worked 3 single crochet in the beginning, and in the 4th stitch we started working the bubble stitch. So that's what we're going to do now again. So starting from the first single crochet, work 3 stitches, 1, next stitch, 2, next stitch, 3, and in the 4th stitch we're going to work the bubble. So I'm not going to go step by step the bubble stitch because we've already done it. I'm just going to count from 1 through 5. Okay, so right in the next stitch we're going to work the bubble. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Grab the yarn, pull through all of the 6 loops, chain to secure, and 1 single crochet in the next 3 stitches. One, two, and 3. In the next stitch again we're going to work the bubble. So since we started repeating again from row number 1, the bubble from row number 1 is aligned with the bubble that I started again, the repetitions all over again. Okay, so go ahead and finish the row off camera. Finish the repetitions of row number 2 as well, which is 1 single crochet in every stitch. And once I start the repetitions of row number 3, I'm going to turn my video back on to see how we're going to start all over again the repetitions for row number 3. And then we're going to work the rest of the bag off camera. I've completed crocheting the repetitions of row number 1 and row number 2. You can see how the repetitions of row number 1, the bubbles fall in between of the bubbles of the previous row, but they are all aligned with the bubbles of row number 1. Okay, row number 2 was on the wrong side where we made 1 single crochet in every stitch for 92 stitches. And now again we turn our work and we're going to start the repetitions of row number 3. So what did we do in row number 3? We want the bubbles to fall in between the bubbles of the repetitions of row number 1. So we start with only 1 single crochet and start working the bubble in the 2nd stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Grab the yarn, pull through all of the loops, chain 1 to secure, and now keep repeating the pattern as we did before. 3 single crochet, oops, 1, 2, 3, and in every 4th stitch we're going to work our bubble again. So the bubbles of the repetition of row number 3 that we're working now fall in between of the bubbles of the previous row, and they are aligned with the bubbles that we did in the previous set of repetitions. So from here on, I'm going to work off camera up until I reach the spot where I have completed working all the rows of the bubble stitch. And once I'm in the spot where I'm going to have to work a few rows of single crochet only, I'm going to turn the video back on and see how many rows of single crochet and how to attach the belt in the end to complete our bag. I've completed crocheting my bag, and after the row with the single crochet that we did the increases, okay, so after the row of single crochet, starting to count from the first row of the bubble stitch, I have a total of 20 rows up until the end of my purse, and the last row was a row of 1 single crochet in every stitch in the wrong side of my purse. Now, in order to finish, I've already worked my slip stitch, chain 1, cut the yarn, pull the loop, and tighten up. What we're going to do now is we're going to adjust the belt on our purse, okay? And in order to do that, and in order for the belt to be correctly on our bag, what we're going to do is, if you recall, we have a total of 92 stitches on our purse, okay? If I divide that by 4, the result is 23. So that means that if I separate my bag into quarters, each quarter will have a total of 23 stitches. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start counting from here where I have my slip stitch, okay? Starting to count from the first single crochet, I'm going to count 23 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. So right in here, I'm going to put a marker. Now, starting to count from the next stitch, count 23 stitches again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. So right here, I'm going to put another stitch marker. Again, starting from the next stitch, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Again, a stitch marker over here. And starting to count from the next stitch, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Right in here, I have my last stitch. I'm going to put my stitch marker through here. Okay. So right here, I have the two sides of my purse are right over here. And this is the back part, and this is the front part. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust the belt now. Make sure that when you fold in half the belt, that the links right here on the side are parallel to each other, okay? And this is my corner hole right over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it right through. Okay, I'm going to put the belt inside my purse, and I'm going to take the marker and I'm going to take it through the hole. Okay. The reason that I'm doing this is so we have straight corners. This way the belt along with the purse align correctly with each other. This way we're not going to have a crooked purse, okay? Crooked bag. Okay, now I'm going to make a knot. Do the same thing on the other side as well, the other half. Okay, this right here is the center hole. So I'm going to take the yarn and pull it through. Okay, do the same thing on the front part, on the front corner, on the back corner, and on the front corner right over here. Okay, once I do that, I'm going to turn my video back on and I'm going to show how to stitch to sew the belt on the bag. And see how by putting the corners right on here, how we have a straight bag. We want this to be right on the center in the middle of our purse. Okay, I've adjusted the belt all around my purse and see how it's centered nice and perfect on our purse, on our bag. Okay, so now what we're going to do, starting from the back, I'm going to start stitching around. And what I'm going to be doing right here in the last row of single crochet that I've worked, I'm going to be taking my needle from the front to the back, making sure that every time I'm going through the hole, okay, and then from the back to the front. You do not have to stitch every single crochet. We want the needle just to be going through a single crochet that's aligned with the hole that I have right here on my belt. Okay, so starting right here where I have made my stitch marker from the front to the back. Okay, and then from the back to the front. Again, from the front to the back, making sure I'm grabbing the next hole that I have on my belt. Again, from the back to the front. Okay, now take out the stitch marker that we have right here on the back center. We don't need it anymore since we've started. Okay, and again from the front to the back. And make sure every now and then to grab the beginning yarn that we started sewing with the yarn that we have on the last stitch and tighten it up, making sure that all the stitches are very tight on our belt, because if they're not tight, our belt is going to come loose, the yarn over here, and it's going to look bad. So make sure you tighten every now and then. Once I sew all around and I come back here in the back again, I'm going to turn my video to see how to finish our purse. I've completed attaching the belt on my bag and see how perfect it's aligned on our purse. Okay, the front and the back. What I've done right here where I finished, I pulled the strings of my yarn on the inside of my purse. Okay, now what we're going to do is grab the one end and tighten up, make sure it's tightened enough on this side, and grab the other end as well and tighten it up always hold the one side, because if you pull the yarn without holding, your whole bag is going to shrink. So make sure you hold the end and pull. And what we're going to do now is we're going to tie a knot. Okay, now what we're going to do is on the inside of our purse, we're going to weave in the ends, and when you weave in, leave a little bit on the outside and burn with a lighter, just so you avoid the frogging of the yarn. Okay, if you do not burn, this is going to keep frogging and your whole bag is going to be destroyed. So make sure you you burn it once you have weaved in all of your ends. Now that we have all of our ends weaved in, what's left to do is to add the strap. Okay, so I'm going to just put my bag here on the side, and very easily just take the end over here and just pull it through the link, and the other side as well, and our bag is ready. This is a very beautiful summer bag with a bubble stitch that we all love because it gives a very nice result on our bags. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, and if you like the video, please press like and leave a comment. Thanks again. Bye bye.